All right, so the background of this paper is based on a vacant position that takes place within a medical field for an organization that we have come up with. There were a lot of different ways that we approached this, and some of it was outlined in the paper, but the approach or procedure taken to develop these processes as far as staffing, training, and development go kind of took place in a step-by-step order. So the first thing that we wanted to make sure of was that we had a program set in place that shows the flow of the jobs that are currently open and whether or not they're in a hiring process. Generally, this would take place through some sort of a ATS or an applicant tracking system. Once we know that that vacant position is being hired for, we'll start to conduct a job analysis to ensure that the efficient knowledge, strength, and skills, abilities, and other things are recognized so that the position can be filled with qualified candidates and so that we know how to create a job posting that will attract those qualified candidates. Once that's been completed, we will then consult the training and development department so that we know that whenever we do hire for this position, the correct training and development is being taken into effect for that person. And that person, if they are truly a qualified candidate, can bounce ideas off of the training and development department to ensure that we are creating a full 360 idea of what this position will entail and what the responsibilities for this position are. Once we've identified an accurate job posting to attract qualified candidates and found somebody through sourcing, we'll then have open interviews so that the job applicants can see what the workflow is like for this. They can ask any questions they may have about benefits, PTO, vacation, etc. There's a lot of different things that obviously go into a job, so making sure that they can ask the questions that they need to and get a great idea of what the culture is like within this organization. It's very important to make sure that it's going to be a strong fit not only for the organization but also the candidate that we're looking at to hire. So that's kind of the background of this paper and what we were doing to develop the processes described within the paper. Thank you.
When you look at the overall success of an organization and the competitiveness that associated with that, what do you currently think about? Are you thinking about how they performed at their job? Are you thinking about the staff that they have? You may be, and that's all linked to talent acquisition and the talent team in general. While it may seem at surface that it's just simply hiring somebody, it's much deeper than that. The overall success of the hospital, for instance, in this scenario, starts when they start performing a job analysis. When they're analyzing the job before they hire the candidate for the vacant role, what they are doing is ensuring that when they hire somebody, that the person they hire meets all the qualifications and has the correct background and has the right kind of vision and mission that lines up with the employer. By doing so, you are ensuring that not only you get the right candidate, but they are the right fit, and that's on both levels of the job. In doing the job analysis and also consulting with your training development department, you're going to find many reasons and many scenarios where this plays out to be successful and on the organization and increases overall success for not only the company, but the employees as well. By doing this, you're going to increase your job knowledge of the job position so that when you hire somebody, you know the background of that job. So you know what to expect and what to look for in the candidate. When you do this, you're also more able to closely evaluate prior to hiring your candidates and ensure that they have all the right background and that they're the right fit. Furthermore, you are increasing the longevity of employment, which increases morale, staffing, and decreases financial impacts of the higher retention rate, because hiring somebody new and then losing them after not long will become a more expensive rate than keeping somebody long term. This also will lead to a strengthened communication and sense of community between staff and talent acquisition and talent development teams. When this happens, you are increasing an overall morale, and what this does is it increases the service they're giving, because when the employees are happy and doing well, then the company will thrive and do well, because it all starts in-house. Furthermore, candidates will be more in line with the mission and the values associated with the hospital or wherever you're hiring for. This all adds up to a great scenario for the company. When the employees are well-versed, the right fit, and have the same goals and mission, The company is bound to see success, and all these things tie together to make a successful scenario for the company. And in doing so, you will see a great sense of community and a happier work environment.
The outline that the team and I have laid out is something I personally have not seen done by any company I've ever worked or even applied for. I live in a pretty rural area, and there are bigger companies here that don't always have the luxury of doing what my team and I have laid out. The companies around here are willing to take anyone with or without experience, and while I realize how difficult this can be for companies to do, all the time it takes for them to train each individual, I also appreciate it. When a company is willing to take you on without any experience, it gives you the opportunity to add it to your resume and gives you the opportunity to fall in love with a job you've never thought you'd like. Having never been on the teams that do the hiring, of course, this is just an observation. Personally, having had no experience for a job that took me and hearing coworker stories about how this is the first time they've worked in a place like this, it is nice to know that there are companies out there that go this extra mile for people like us. It is nice knowing because there are a lot of people in my rural areas that need jobs and companies that need workers. It makes sense as to why some companies don't have the luxury of following plans like the one my team and I laid out here.
During this paper, we have learned that there are many twists and turns when it comes to hiring for a company, and that hospitals face just as much as obstacle courses. During this project, we have laid out a strategic plan on how to hire the best candidate possible and how to utilize other departments to be successful to working for the company, making sure the best quality people are hired versus having a large quantity of employees, not allowing the departments being short-staffed and making other people work harder. Overall, we have learned that the hiring process is long and somewhat tedious, but making sure the best people are hired will result in the best outcome. As a result, from the step-by-step that we have created, I would use that approach for my own organization as it was well planned and well thought out. It would help with the hiring process.